Hi, I'm Susan Francis, the Deputy Director of the Maryland Volunteer Lawyer Service. I'm going to talk to you today briefly about a couple of ways you can try to protect yourself from scams and other types of financial exploitation. So what is a scam? A scam is a fraudulent act by a dishonest person that's trying to seek money or some other thing of value from you. And who is scammed? Well, everyone is at risk of being scammed. Actually, in the United States, about 11% of Americans are scammed. And so that's about $26 million that folks are losing to different kinds of scams. And if you're in a crisis, it's even worse. So if you are having perhaps a health crisis or a family crisis, you are 4 times more likely to be scammed. And how do they do this? Well, any way in which you're communicating with folks is a way that they can scam. So it could be a phone call, it could be in person, it could be an email. There's a variety of ways that these individuals can try to contact you and try to take some of your hard-earned funds. And in fact, phone scams, 1 in 10 people fall victim to phone scams with an average loss of over $400. So what does a scam look like? Oftentimes it could be maybe an email where someone's trying to get your financial information, your social security number, some way that they can access some of your assets. Or it could be the infamous grandparent scam, where the grandparent gets an email or a phone call saying, that their grandchild is in an emergency situation and needs money right away. Generally, anytime someone's trying to get financial information from you and they're rushing you to make an information rushing you to get that information and make a decision, that's a pretty good sign it might be a scam. So the Federal Trade Commission has some suggestions about things that you can do to avoid scams. 1, avoid robocalls. 2, don't fall into the depositing a check and wiring money back. If something's a free trial or a free offer, be cautious about that. Even your caller ID, you can't trust your caller ID anymore. New technology permits someone to use someone else's caller ID number. So you may pick up the phone thinking it's your child and actually it's a scammer. You want to be cautious and you want to talk to someone else. If something doesn't sound right to you, check in with someone else and get their advice about it as well. You can even check on the Federal Trade Commission website at ftc.gov/scams, and they'll tell you about some of the new scams that are coming out. Some of the key things to think about is identity theft. That happens a lot, both with just your general financial information, but also with your taxes. And there's a couple things you can do. Make sure you shred all of your documents you're not using. Make sure you put up private information. If you have a caregiver or someone coming into your home, don't leave that information out where folks can see it. And check your credit reports. You can get free yearly credit reports where you can make sure no one has accessed any of your credit information. Be cautious of debt and credit repair scams. They often charge a really high upfront cost. They promise things they actually can't deliver on, and generally you end up no better than you were, except now you've lost the funds that you've paid to them. And unfortunately, seniors are particularly at risk of scams. 90% of seniors that have had, financial exploitations issue has been done by a family member or someone else that they trusted. One of the things we try to talk about a lot is the rule of 78s. And that's a particular group of senior citizens that are targeted by scammers because they know if you're in that age range, you still are generally independent, often living at home, but your brain has stopped sending that alarm bell quite as frequently when there's a potentially dangerous situation. So where you would have thought before, oh, this doesn't sound right, your brain doesn't send that same alarm or doesn't send it as loud as it used to. And so this is really a time where you want to check in with maybe a family member or a friend. My mom is in this age range, and I always ask her to check in with someone else if someone's pressuring her to make a decision. There's a couple of scams that are really pretty targeted towards seniors. Of course, there's the home repair scams. You have to be very cautious with reverse mortgages, but also co-signing. Many folks don't know that when you co-sign for something, you are just as liable for that financial debt as the person that you've co-signed for. So you want to be really, really careful when you're looking at co-signing documents. So there's a couple things that we all can do to try to avoid scams. Make sure we keep our Social Security number, our financial accounts protected. If someone's pressuring us to make a decision, talk to someone about that. Take some time to think about it. You can call the Attorney General's office. The Maryland Attorney General has help for folks that are at risk of financial exploitation to report an issue, or just ask them a question if this is a scam. A lot of times folks feel ashamed that they've been taking advantage by someone that's trying to scam them, but this is a big business. There are very complex ways that folks try to scam us out of our funds. And the way you can reach the Attorney General's office, I'm going to give you the phone number. It is 410-528-8662. Again, that's 410-528-8662. There's some ways that we can help here at MVLS. If you are at risk or have had your identity theft, then you can contact us either for financial issues or tax issues. The other thing that we can help you with is that a lot of times individuals might think about putting someone on their house or their bank accounts as a way to think about aging. That's not a great strategy to protect your house and your assets. There are ways that we can help you address that through a life estate or a power of attorney that really protects those assets for you, but takes care of the things that you need to be taken care of. Say no to co-signing. That's generally a bad idea. And otherwise, feel free to reach out to us. You can reach out to us through our phone intake or our online intake at www.mvlslaw.org or call the Attorney General. But generally, be very, very cautious and make sure you get other folks' input when you're not quite sure what to do. Thank you.